This is a quick little recording for the Sustaining Neighborhood Change reading, which is a required reading for the community knowledge discussion that we'll be having shortly. First one is quickly to summarize what the reading's about, and then just some things to think about as you read the full document. So the subtitle is The Power of Resident Leadership, Social Networks, and Community Mobilization. And what this is basically all about and ties into is authentic demand, is what their term is, which is highly correlated with some of the discussion that you watched on Professor Oswald's discussion of civic engagement. So I just want to clarify what this is. This is a manual produced by Making Connections, which is an organization that focuses on a lot of the problems in neighborhoods being the widening gaps in income, employment, assets, and school success. Their primary belief is that families are cut off from opportunities and the supports they need to succeed as parents and in the workforce. So if our goal is to have children do better, and children do better with strong families, and strong families do better with strong communities, if we make strong communities, then success is probably a likely option. So this organization goes into communities and tries to make that happen, and there's a pamphlet that kind of says what their main beliefs are. So their mission is that residents and allies must be drivers of change. They must be the ones that own it, demand it, and work for it. And this is a term that they'll eventually define as authentic demand. Those who live, work, and worship in tough neighborhoods must believe that better results are possible. So a lot of this is at the local level. The group that's best able to tap into existing networks of families and friends to assess the needs, to get the word out and mobilize others, is again those who live in these communities. And finally, the perspectives and knowledge of the local needs, conditions, and history are critical to shaping effective strategies. So there's so many ways that this pamphlet really discusses how the best chance for success lies with the community. And that's what they call authentic demand. They define it as individual and community capacity to define, articulate, and work for results. So again, that's defining their own needs, articulating them in a way that defines the problem. We've discussed difficulty in defining the problem, and then ways to come up with results. They cite that you need leadership, which is training local residents, strong social networks, and that would be a reciprocation with community partners and those in the community. Blending these social networks together. It deals with community organizing, which is a sense of mobilizing people to get what they want through civic participation, being holding service providers accountable through local meetings, through government, through elections, and all those type of behaviors. So ultimately, what to take away from this, or to place it in the context of Professor Oswald's discussion that he posted on this website, is who gets the voice here? Is it the community that matters? Is it scholars? Is it practitioners? What's clear from at least this version is that the voice comes from existing relationships in the local community because they're less trusting of formal communication channels. And that being said, in order to make these interactions successful, there's a piece of civic engagement involved, which is hiring from the community. The community members know about informal supports, and they respect the community needs as opposed to imposing them from the outside. And then finally, observing this authentic demand, we have to ask ourselves as practitioners, who is having input in defining the problem? That's been a big key for this week's discussion. Of defining the problem helps us understand the solution. This organization believes in using neighborhood messengers to provide outreach and peer education. They also identify the needs and concerns of the community. They know the networks, and they act as representatives and organizers to make things done. And so then finally, another way to sum up what authentic demand, of how to at least measure it, is it's not only what they do, but also what they get. And this also comes from the reading. So is the goal job placement, advanced skills, or is it transportation? Is it new forms of childcare, better education, or is it just even the perceptions of the neighborhoods? And the ones that, again, do hold these answers, at least according to this reading, is those in the community. So you have to ask yourself, when you're looking at your projects or choosing a project, who is having input into the problem definition, and are they being listened to of potential solutions, and who's being turned to as a solution. So you are an engaged scholar, you have had done a literature review, you have this whole research proposal that you'll eventually have. But to be a better practitioner, is it better to listen to the community and civic engagement, or are you bringing in some biases from your own research? And that's what you're going to have to be balancing throughout this project. So as you read, just keep an eye open for the various ways that this organization implements local level knowledge and the successes that they've had in doing so.